For the next couple of minutes, we're going to take a look at the new invoice details reporting capabilities in WebChartMD. This is a really neat new feature, and it allows you to run your own invoice detail reports for client invoicing, as well as staff pay period reports. Plus, you can customize the invoice templates to look however you want them to look. Include your own JPEG, your own letterhead at the top, whatever customization you need, and whatever details your clients require. And the invoice detail reports can be set to automatically email to clients and staff on whatever bill or pay period schedule you have set up with them. Let's take a quick look at the new features. If you've not seen the earlier videos in this introduction collection of videos about the new Reports Builder module, I'd encourage you to go back and take a look at them. There's some really neat new features. This invoice feature that we've added is under now the management report. So there's a whole selection of new kind of key reports for productivity and profitability metrics under management reports. Two of those are the invoicing, and let's take a quick look. So I'm going to click on the invoicing bill details report. And so what I might be doing with this particular report is creating a report at the end of the billing period to send to the client. Now these can be automated so that they automatically go out to all of your clients at the end of the month via email. You won't even have to do any of the things I'm about to do manually. But if you'd like to create one, you're able to do so manually too, and I'm going to show you how. So I've clicked Invoice Bill Details. I'm going to add a criteria for my report to run it by facility. Now I could run a master invoice that shows all of my accounts and all of my dictators, but I'd like to run it just for advanced orthopedics. And by the way, you could do the same thing. You could come into this part of the module, and if these are all of your accounts, you could just run your invoice details one by one at the end of the billing period. But let's quickly do one for one of my clients, Advanced Orthopedics. I'll set my date range for the report, and all of my data is back in June for my test account, so I'll set my June month parameters, and then I just click Create. And when I do, my invoice detail report will appear on screen. So here's my data for the invoice period, and I can look at it on screen before sending it into my template. You'll notice here that for Advanced Orthopedics, they did 201 files, and then it breaks it out by dictator. Here's Dr. Monique Harris's work. We did 48 files for her, my total bill lines, my total bill amount for Dr. Harris, etc. So I'm able to look at the data first on screen, and I'm actually able to add additional filters. So let's say for this particular client, we only bill them on what's been transcribed and delivered. We don't bill them for anything in QA. So I'm going to add that filter as well. So I'm going to go to Status, and I'm going to say to the system, I want to rerun this report, but let's just do it for anything that's in the inbox or the final folder. Now you have other options. You could also invoice them for files in QA, for example, or files that they rejected. Or, and this for some accounts is an important and helpful feature, what if you've got a client who's deleting files and not telling you? You might want to check the deleted box as well to make sure you pick up anything that they've deleted from their inbox or final folder but not told you about. So having set that filter, let me rerun my report. I'll click the Create button, and my data populates on my screen, and I've now got everything on screen for the billing period for this client. I can now export that into my invoicing format or template, and I can export it to the client or for the client's use or my staff's use as a CSV, comma separated values, that's the export button, or into a Word template, or as a PDF. I'm going to send it to PDF. It tends to be the most client-friendly, I would say, for us to take a look at, but then I'm going to show you how it got into the format that it did. So let me hit the Export button here in the toolbar. And my report now appears here in the bottom left-hand corner of my screen as PDF. I'll click it to open it. And when it opens, I now see all of the information I need to present to my client. Now, these particular column headers are ones that I just wanted to have on this particular template. You can design the template to have whatever data you want. And I'll pull that up in just a second so you can see it. But now I'll scroll down, you see what happens. I've got my dictator, my subtotaled lines and dollar amount for each of my dictators at the account. There's Dr. Miller. And let's take a look at what happens at the end of the report. So at the end, under Dr. Vezi, the last provider in the group, I see my grand total of total lines transcribed and my total dollar amount that I'm billing out to the client for the billing period. Now, if I bill in minutes instead of lines, I could have added that column instead. If I wanted something else to appear in my template other than the first and last name and the DID, maybe they require the MRN or they want to see the job number or whatever that might be, you're able to customize the template to suit that particular client's needs. And you're not locked into one global template. You can have one template you use for client A and a totally different template that you use for billing details for client B. Now, let's take a quick look at the template itself. I've pulled it up on screen and you can see it. And you may notice if you've been using our system for a while that there are gray brackets inside this document. Well, those gray brackets are bookmarks. It's the exact same system for your bill and pay template creation that you use when you create templates for use with your care providers and your accounts. So there's a list of template bookmarks available for invoicing templates like this one, and you're able to drop them into place, and we're happy to help you to build out and customize those templates. But once you've created that template, you can then upload it right into the client account, and I'll show you where that's done. Let me come back over to my reports section. And by the way, we'll provide a full training on this if you're interested in using this feature. So don't feel as though you've got to remember all of the steps that I'm doing now. But when I click Edit Report, and again, I was under my Bill Details template, I can up here add a template under this template Bill Details template area. I can create a template and upload it so that the data will populate into the format that I need and desire. And as I mentioned, it can be done on a client-by-client basis, or it can be done globally for all clients. So adding a template that meets your specifications and creating that template is really a very simple thing to do, and can be done right in Word in a template format, saved and then uploaded. Let's take a look while we're here. Why don't we run the other one, the pay details report as well. So just like my bill details, I can go in and set a couple of filters. So first I'm going to set a filter for the transcriptionist. This can be done again like the bill details automatically, so you don't have to manually run any of these. But I'll create one manually for Connie Wallace. So I've got my transcriptionist. Now I want to add status too, because I'm not going to pay, or we don't pay our MTs for anything that's not been delivered yet. So if it's in QA, we're not going to pay. But if it's in the inbox and final folder, those are the reports we pay on for the period. So I'll go in and set my date range again for the month of June, and I'll run this report. So I'll click Create Report. And now I've got all my data on screen for jobs that Connie Wallace transcribed during that pay period that were in either the inbox or the final folder of the client. And just like I did with my bill details report, I'm going to come up and press Export to PDF. And my file produces and drops in the bottom left-hand corner of my screen. I'll click it, and here's Connie's pay report. I see all of her jobs. They're in descending date order. I see how many pay lines she did. I see the rate that I'm paying her at. It's calculated the amount that I owe her for each file. And then at the end of her report, it shows me the total number of lines she did for the period, and what the pay amount is for the period. So it's a very easy type of report to create and run for each of your MTs and QA staff. And as I mentioned earlier, these can all be set up to be automated so that you don't have to do anything. Once a month or at the end of each bill period and pay period, the system will automatically generate these reports for you and send them out to each of your transcriptionists or each of your accounts. Now, we'll be doing group training sessions within the next couple of weeks for all of our clients, but if you'd like one-on-one training on this particular module, feel free to contact us at 877-386-6677, option 2, or support@webchartmd.com.